African philosophy explores the rich tapestry of thought shaped by Africa's history, culture, and knowledge. It emphasizes the bond between community, ethics, spirituality, and identity. This philosophy draws from oral traditions, proverbs, and communal values, exploring the essence of humanity in its social and historical surroundings. African philosophy mainstreams. Ethnic philosophy reflects community beliefs. Sage philosophy is the wisdom of elders. Africa's political philosophy emphasizes political thought rooted in African values. African philosophy existed before colonization and is evident in ancient Egyptian education and governance. Thinkers like St. Augustine of Hippo and Moses the Black demonstrate Africa's rich intellectual history. A brief historical background. African philosophy predates colonization and is visible in the intellectual traditions of the pharaohs of ancient Egypt. Early African civilizations had systems of education, morality, and governance deeply rooted in philosophy. St. Augustine of Hippo, 354–430 AD, an African bishop and philosopher whose theological and ethical works influenced both African and Western philosophy. Moses the Black, a 4th century, a former slave and monk, symbolizing the African journey of transformation, spiritual strength, and moral reasoning. These early thinkers showed that Africa has always been a continent of intellect and philosophy, contrary to colonial narratives that depicted Africa as primitive. Education and the effects of Westernization. During colonization, African systems of knowledge were dismissed or devalued. The education system was reshaped to reflect Western norms, languages, and values, sidelining African epistemologies. Learners were taught to aspire toward Western ideals, leading to cultural alienation and a loss of identity. This context is important in understanding the continued struggle to assert African values in education. Questions such as, what does it mean to say I am an African? And whose knowledge is valued in the classroom? Are central to reclaiming African identity and pride in education. African Renaissance and philosophy in education. The African Renaissance is a call to revive African thought, creativity, and education, and to reclaim ownership of our narratives and worldviews. In education, this means teaching learners that African languages, traditions, and philosophies are intellectually rich and worthy of study, to view themselves as agents of knowledge, not just passive receivers of Western ideas. That education is not just about employment, but about preparing learners to live meaningfully in their communities.
Ubuntu, a core principle in teaching.
Ubuntu is one of the most powerful contributions of African philosophy to education. Ubuntu means I am because we are. In education, Ubuntu teaches community matters. The learner is not isolated. They are part of a class, school, and broader society. Relationships shape learning. Teaching must be caring, relational, and ethical. Educating the whole person. Beyond academic content, learners are taught values, identity, empathy, and social responsibility. In conclusion, African philosophy plays a significant role in modern education by restoring dignity to African identity and ways of knowing. It encourages curricula that reflect the realities of learners, promoting inclusive and ethical teaching grounded in African values. This approach values community-based learning and problem-solving, moving beyond individual achievements. For instance, a life orientation teacher might incorporate cultural healing practices into a health lesson by inviting elders to share their experiences, enriching the learning environment.